Welcome everybody. In this video, let us have a bird's eye view into the philosophical origins of psychology. How we behave and why we behave so are questions that have aroused curiosity from time immemorial. In the earliest period of history of psychology, they were answered quite unscientifically, merely on the basis of superstitions, and it was believed that a person's behavior was the result of his fate, which was bound to be influenced by the movements of the planet. In case we know the position of the planet at any particular moment, we could tell and predict the behavior of the person by evaluating his horoscope. Besides, the role of planets, demons, spirits, ghosts, and other supernatural forces were also held responsible for varying human actions. In this way, the cause and forms of human behavior were being located in something outside human being. The Greek philosophers are credited to look inside the human beings for clues to behavior. One of the first stones laid for the foundation of scientific psychology when an ancient Greek physician, Alcmaeon, BC 700, put forward the proposition that mental life is a function of brain. Socrates believed that inquiry into the nature of the cosmos is futile. As a result, he tried to adopt a question answer method of peeping into the nature of man. He compared his own views with those of his predecessors, analyzing and evaluating them in detail. His discourses regarding this may be seen as the first psychological inquiries. He talked about the unity of the soul and body, which was entirely controversial to the viewpoints of his disciple Plato. Plato was one of the preliminary proponents of dualism, which explained that soul and body are two separate entities. Plato drew a sharp distinction between mind and body, assigning the former by far the key role for generating behavior. Aristotle's concept of the soul proved a cornerstone in psychology for centuries. He viewed the soul or the psyche, meaning life, and considering the mind as a living, moving phenomenon that directs the activities of the body. However, he considered mind and body as united and thus brought psychology into the realm of biology. But Aristotle considered heart as an organ responsible for spiritual processes. Aristotle was the first to give the systematic exposition of psychological concepts on his discourse on the soul. Roman Stoics and Epicureans contributed to the development of psychology in ways that paralleled the fate of natural sciences in Rome. But these philosophies were limited in scope and were expressed mainly in Roman religious practices. They did not follow the Greek attempts to devise a comprehensive system of human knowledge. Rather, they formulated somewhat general attitude towards life. However, the psychological implications of these views were limited. In the discussion regarding the philosophical origins, the thoughts formulated in India cannot be isolated. Much of the knowledge of ancient India comes from Vedas, the book of knowledge. The Vedas are a collection of lessons, hymns, poetries, and prose that were compiled from oral recitation. The Hindu philosophies have important implications regarding psychology. According to Hindu philosophy, the individual is characteristically a part of a greater and more desirable unity. Individual growth is away from individuality and toward an emergence into the bliss of universal knowledge. This assertion of individuality is seen not as meaningful in itself, but rather as an activity to be minimized and avoided. Sensory and mental events are unreliable. Truth lies in transcending sensory and mental activities and avoiding consciousness. In short, the integrity of the individual person is questionable because the individual occupies an insignificant place relative to the entire harmonious complexity that is the cosmos. The Hindu philosophy seems to have an extreme coincidence with the humanistic view and the central of the individual self, which has been expressed in the West recently. The ancient Indian thoughts too supported heart as a principal organ of mental activity, the cardiocentric view. In India, the most influential documents were Vedas. It is generally agreed that Vedas reach their culmination in the Upanishads. Vedantas take further the objective idealistic trend already present in Upanishads. All these are currently identified as the part of Hindu philosophy. Synopsizing these collections of philosophical doctrines, the self was not the mortal body, but a special intuitive consciousness in which the external and internal were not distinguished. This was given the name Atman, which is identical with Brahmin, the boundless cosmic consciousness, the base of the world. The individual soul or the soul of one human being is not Atman. Its divine nature is obscured by constant stream of sensory perceptions and bodily urges. Only through the knowledge and strict moral discipline can the soul become free and thereby be identified with the Brahman. Apart from Hinduism, Jainism and Buddhism got developed and flourished in ancient India. Jainism considered that soul was locked in the body and therefore unfree. Buddhism did not agree with the existence of the soul as a separate entity. According to Buddhism, mental spiritual life is a stream of never repeated moments of different stages following one upon another. Buddhist philosophy was deeply influencing one which became very popular in China, Japan and Southeast Asia, but founded by Indian philosopher and teacher Siddhartha or Gautama Buddha during the period around 563 to 483 BC. Buddha's preaching sounds almost behavioristic. It guided the followers to strive through ascetic self-discipline and careful training to attain the happiness of annihilating individual consciousness. Again, the importance is given to move beyond individuality as it is in the Hindu philosophy. The essence of Buddhist philosophy says, this was not here, this is not here and this will not be here. How it is possible? Go and stand in the middle of a river, you will understand. Yoga, another school of thought, suggested the control of all the mental activity which darkens knowledge in order to attain true knowledge. Yoga elaborated a system of techniques which can be practiced regularly to make this reality. It included eightfold way and begins with the regulation of mental functions, attention and thought. There are some other schools too, such as Sankhya, Purva, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, etc. These schools also dealt soul as a subordinate aspect of their prime concern with metaphysics and ethics. Thank you.